Hey, Slay Nation, it's your host, Heather, back with another episode of the So She Slays podcast. Now, I know a lot of us can relate to the word waiting. Like, we're waiting for a promotion. We're waiting to be picked. We're waiting to meet so and so. We're waiting till we're ready. And that is something I think that I have grown myself to start pushing against, because waiting doesn't get me anywhere, and it didn't get our next guest anywhere either. In fact, I think we're going to talk about this because we relate very much on the lack of patience. We relate on the lack of patience. It's a virtue I do not possess naturally. Um, so it's one of these situations where she didn't wait, and because she didn't wait, it got her to probably one of it's a very hard organization. It's a very hard festival to get into right out of the gate. I'm talking South by Southwest. And as I introduced Dalia Rooni, she's an actress, filmmaker, writer. I want to say, like, congratulations, your feature film, your first ever feature film, made it into South by Southwest.
Thank
that
you.
is a feat. I know filmmakers that have been doing it for a minute haven't even done it. And so I'm
psychotic.
It's insane. Can you tell me when you found out, like, how was that moment for you?
Uh, so it felt like a college application process, and I didn't get into my top like 12 schools, I had like that heartbreak of not getting into the college I wanted to go to. So it really felt like that. And it's worse because there are like these online forums now where people are like, it's Wednesday at 3 p.m. That's when they release the first wave. So like we knew on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. they were telling people no. And so if we made it enough weeks without hearing on a Wednesday at 3 p.m., we were, so Wednesdays, like just butt clenched the whole day, just
Right?
like, so stressed. And the way I found out, I was stressfully DIYing, as I do, and I get a call from one of my producers, and she's like, check your email. And I started screaming, like a reaction I've never had to anything, just high pitched screaming. And somehow I was on my bed jumping up and down like a small school child. Like, I'm not even kidding. Just
You're like,
scream. I
I
lost my
made
voice. I lost my voice after that because I was just shocked because I mean, the first words that fell out of my face were like, oh my God, the little people make it. Like the little people win. Like literally the first words that fell out of my face. So it was cool.
You're like, that's all I got. Like,
I mean, it was just so cool. And I think as you continue to do things that you dreamed of, like more and more things become less cool. So it's just so amazing to still have those things that are like this like shattered me. Like this completely like this was so cool.
yeah. And so I have to say too, like, how was it? How has it been since, making it in? Has the life changed? Has perspectives changed? Like, what's happening?
The life has not changed. If anything, I'm the same person I was a week ago, but it is interesting. Like as soon as you have that title, that thing that someone can point to, it matters to them more than it matters to you. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of an
Yeah.
interesting social thing that kind of
Con-
shifted. Yeah, totally. Like, oh, now suddenly I'm valuable in a conversation, but I'm the same person I was a week ago. I'm just as hardworking as I was a week ago. I'm just as talented. I'm just as, so that shift was kind of shocking to me how other people kind of perceive the success. Um, but I mean, it's about damn time.
It's about, look. I mean, I think what it is too is South by Southwest, and in case our audience isn't very familiar, it is a very large and prestigious festival to kind of get into. Like, it's not a feat. And when you said it's like a college application process, you're not lying. You're not lying at all. That's kind of what it is. And you're just like anxiety ridden the whole time.
Mhm.
Did I make it?
Totally. It's like less than 3% acceptance rate. I think there were like over 9,000 films submitted this year. I think around 100 made it in. Like crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
and so to make it in on your first feature film, holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
cool. It's cool for sure. It's definitely
no words.
cool.
No words.
I mean, listen, it's like that thing where people are like overnight success, but like 10 years in the making. And really
Facts.
it's been 10 years in the making. I've made a bunch of short films, I've written a bunch of features. They've never gone anywhere, like we don't see all that work that's underneath the surface that made this one look so easy or made this one look so effortless or right? Or like, yeah, it sounds like crazy to be like your first feature, but we don't see all the pilots, all the pitching, all the other features that didn't get made, all the auditions, all the pins, all the, and those things definitely led to this.
And I really want to talk about this because we're going to paint this picture for our non film industry peeps, right? So, talk to me a little bit about before this period, right? Before this moment, this highlight. Talk to me about the auditions, the script writing, the shorts, the features that got made and then nothing happened.
Mhm.
What exactly is that? What did that look like?
Well, for me, it looked like dropping out of school at 19, moving to LA by myself with one suitcase to like pretend to be a student at USC so I could get like cheap housing and like sleeping on a mattress on the floor that had cockroaches on it. Like that was the start. Oh,
Oh,
straight up. It
oh.
was like working bartending jobs that I was underage for, and then like I mean, and like just piecing it together. Then I became a personal trainer, and it was training from 5:30 in the morning till like 10:30, getting changed at the gym, full hair, makeup, whatever, running to an audition across town, coming back, changing again, like, and it was years and years and years of auditions and getting this close to life-changing roles, like roles that I've seen other people book and change their lives. And like truly heartbreak over and over and over and over and over again until I was just like this can't be it. Like this cannot be the next 20 years of my life. Like it just cannot be.
Hmm.
Um so I had to do it myself.
Yeah. I mean, and look where it got you. I would say when you say years and years and years, realistically, what are we talking years and years? Because I think some people are like, oh, a couple years, this, that, and the other. I'm like, come again?
um this year in July it'll be exactly 10 years for me.
Yeah.
And that is pretty a low number for many of my friends and peers in this industry. The director who directed this movie, my really close friend Lauren Knoll, um, she's probably has 10 years on me, with the same heartbreak and, no after no after no, or like maybe, no, maybe, which
Just
are worse
kidding.
than no, which are worse than the no's. Um,
Well, it's such a big tease. It's such a big tease. I want to sit here and also think about like what it takes to create a
mhm,
feature, right? Um, I don't think that again, unless you're in the industry, you don't really know what actually goes into that, the time, the effort, the people, the money,
mhm.
all of that. Let's talk about it.
Great. Yeah. First of all, it's having an idea that not matters enough, but matters enough to you that you will invest 1 year, maybe more of your life writing a story that's strong, right? Like, who cares if it matters to other people? Because I think it has to matter to you first and foremost. Then it's convincing a team to come on board and having the same story, your baby, inspire at least the next 5 people, your directors, your producers, your team. And in my case, it's a group of 5 incredible women who were inspired enough by the first phase of this script to be like, we are going to give every day of our lives for the next 2 years unpaid to making this thing happen.
I want to
Um
pause there. Unpaid. I really want people to. This is if you don't love this shit, it's not for you. Okay,
When I
it's just
when
not
I
for
wanted
you.
to when I wanted to become an actor, I knew one actor and I went and I was like, "Please, can I take you to coffee? I'd love to pick your brain." And I was like, "What advice do you have?" And he was like, "If you can do anything else in the world,
Do
go
it.
do it. Go do it." And I was
This
like,
industry picks you. It doesn't like it picks you for some
"You
reason.
you just won't survive if it's not the only thing you can do." Like, you
Facts.
just won't. Cause guess what? Like, you'll get a job and you'll make money and you'll have health insurance and you'll be like, "Wow, this is nice."
You're
Like,
like, "Oh my god, I'm not stressed out." Like
right, right. Like, "Oh my god, I can take a vacation and not stress about, all the jobs." I mean, truly, truly. Yeah, so then once you get a team together, unpaid, in fact, in many of our cases, paying to do this, then it's raising money, which I wish upon nobody. It's the worst thing in the world.
that's a rough go.
It's it's horrific, and by the way, we're talking about minority communities that are trying to raise this money now, right? And minority communities are often in the middle of a war or just fucking shit worldwide, and there's so many better things to give your money to. So going out there and being like, "Hi, support art," is like just really hard sometimes. And I was talking about that today with my cousin. I was like, "There's really never a good time to try to raise money for something or like ever." It's just tough. So then it's raising money and then it's convincing other actors who will bolster your project, make it what it has the potential to be a part of it. And then it's like slowly from there just crafting different pieces of this huge thing until eventually you have 100 people who are employed to work on this thing that you crafted from your brain. It's literally crazy. It's crazy.
I want to talk about like the financial parts of this a little bit
Hmm.
more because I'm going to hit my people who are in the industry in our audience. And I know from experience and from having friends that are also filmmakers too, that's a tough go. That's a very difficult thing to do, and like you said, it's very hard with minority communities in
Hmm.
general. How did you guys go about it?
Yeah, so we were very lucky that this script really spoke to a producer in South Carolina who was a fan of my director's work, had seen her do work on a short film and was like, if you're ever ready to do your feature, let me know. So she had sent them the script, and we were very lucky that even though it was like this Iranian niche story, which it's not at all, and we could talk about that, but like, seemingly on paper, it was kind of niche, that they were like, we super resonate with this and we think it's brilliant and we want to support you. So they were like the first chunk of change in the door, and having that, I think, gave us all the confidence to then go ask for more money, because it was like, someone else thinks this is valuable, you will too. um, and then it was just like picking the brains of everybody I had ever met who had ever done this and the creative ways in which they did it. There was a crowdfund portion, and it was like, how do we keep that engaging and interesting through Seed and Spark? We were sponsored by a 501(c)(3), so we became effectively a nonprofit. So there was a donation based portion. I even printed out QR codes and posted them up around Los Angeles and was like, "This indie film needs you." Like, we had like an incredible Sarah Bahba, who's a Middle Eastern photographer. She did a photo shoot of our three girls, which like helped with promo. Like, we just did everything we could possibly think of to get us there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I
then
mean,
yeah.
it takes it.
Yeah, and I truly can't believe that we did that.
Oh, well, I mean, you did, and you took it one step further too. I want to turn and talk about this film a little bit because you
Mhm.
kind of touched on it a little bit, where it's like, oh, it's a niche story, and I come from a mixed race family. I am biracial myself, so I could. I'm like, oh, my story. um, so talk to me a little bit about the film, and then let's dive into this being so niche,
Yeah,
quote
sure.
unquote.
Yeah, truly, quote unquote, because it's like it shouldn't be niche, right? Like,
Right.
the concept of the film, basically, it's inspired by a true story of a weekend that I spent on Cape Cod with my two close friends. And it's really a weekend. It was a weekend that I point to, and I kind of say like, oh, that was the weekend I went from being like a girl to like a ma'am, right? Like, I like became a
A
ma'am.
girl to a
I
ma'am,
Yeah, I
okay.
like went into the pandemic being like, I'm a cute girl who can get away with things. I came out of the pandemic being like, people being like, "Ma'am, do you have kids? Like, ma'am, where are your children?" So like it was that transition that I wanted to like time capsule in film. So it follows three Persian girls and their three white boyfriends over the course of one weekend. Um at a wedding on Cape Cod. And our three girls are different degrees of immigrantness. You have one that's fresh off the boat, so she's like thick with accent and the most rooted in her culture. You have one girl that's 10 years removed from Iran, so she has kind of like this memories of Iran and a very strict way of doing things. You know, she wants to please her parents. And then we have the first generation American Iranian who I play, who probably thinks she's like more Persian than she is. You know, she's that girl who like, you know, all the Americans are like, you're foreign, and all the foreign people are like, you're American. So she's that third
In the
culture,
middle.
like stuck between two worlds girl. Yeah.
I love that, and I definitely related to that is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
me. And so I was like, "Oh, I recognize this so much."
Totally, and that's why I think it's not niche, right? Because I'm like, yeah, they might be Persian, but the idea is that they're relatable to anyone who's stuck between two worlds, whether that's cultural worlds or gender identity worlds or like whatever your caught between is. Like this should feel relatable to you for that reason.
Absolutely. And what I found for me too is like, and it's so cool to see stories uh that depict that, I will say, because I
Mhm.
don't see the representation of the, gosh, how would I even represent it? Like your three main characters and the degrees in which they are ingrained into their culture, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think for me, I'm just like, oh, this is cool, because this, unless you like live that life or you have that experience, you don't realize the degrees of the culture
Totally.
at all.
Totally. And I hope like people will watch it and be like, "Oh, great. So when I see a brown girl, like a Middle Eastern girl, she could be any version of this. Like she's not this one like 2D image that I've seen in media previously." You know, so often like when Middle Eastern girls are on screen, if they ever are on screen, it's, like, coupled with some sort of, like, oppression story or, you know, just kind of, like, one note forever because Hollywood set the standard, and, like, my goal was to be like, "No, we are sexy, we are flawed, we are interesting, we are funny, you know, we're not perfect, but we're not all this, like, story of oppression either."
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, it was funny and it's relatable. And I love the fact that the culture was part of it, but it wasn't the whole thing,
Mhm, mhm,
right? I
mhm,
have the same gripe when it comes to Asian American films, right? Or
mhm,
Asian American representation, or even just Asian in general.
mhm.
And like, I'm always freaking, my people are always in a restaurant, in a
Right.
laundry mat.
Math
We're
people.
doing kung fu. So,
Mhm.
I'm like, we can't just be people. Like, can't just
Right.
be people.
And the character description was always like Asian, smart. And you're like, that who is she? Tell me more about who she is. You know, and same with Middle Eastern girls. It's like, oh, Middle Eastern girl hijabi. And you're like, okay, but who is she?
And
Right. Like, why do the white girls get the whole description? I got really animated and my phone fell.
really, no, but as you should. I literally was just having this conversation in regards to the Oscars, because I was like, look, this is the first time I've seen so many like different Asian faces
Mm-hmm.
at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, for it to be around as long as it has been, and this is the first time I really recognize the fact that representation is actually like showing up in different ways. I mean, yay, progress, but also the hell?
I know, I know, and the saddest part is that, like, you almost have to wait until one of your kind, which don't even get me started on that sentence that came out of my face,
Right?
but, like, one of your kind is, like, in a decision-making position so that they might extend the opportunities to the people who are just
Yep.
entering, you know? Like, it sucks.
It sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks. And the thing is like, representation matters. The stories matter. And I think people want to see it. Obviously, you made it into South by Southwest. So it's like people want
Mhm.
this. And it really is like I think a lot of people kind of get confused as to like, well, how come these things don't get made? And I mean, there's a whole entire like dissertation about that. How did you handle the
Mm.
uncertainty, the emotional toll that that took? Not only just like in getting to this point, right? Because like endurance, resilience, of course, but like how did you actually handle that? And then also when you're making this feature and you have all these people involved and you got the money behind it, how you're managing that? Because that's a total different
Yeah, those are two
ballgame.
totally different things. Um, ha, ah. First of all, I think like my back was just like so against the wall by the time I decided that I had to do this, that there was truly nothing to lose. It was like the strikes. I had a lot of success as a commercial actor, but like I wasn't booking the roles I wanted, so it really just felt like I've been here for 8 years now. I don't have the roles that I like know that I can play, and so it really just felt like there's absolutely nothing to lose here. And with the strikes, we knew that like the next 3 years of Hollywood were going to look very different. Like if I didn't force myself in the door, it's possible I just didn't. I wasn't of the group of people that would have stayed here. So that to me was like all the confidence came from like if I just don't do this, it'll be over. Then when it got to like, okay, all these things are in place and we're going and we are on set and everyone is in this house and they are, I mean, it's crazy. They're acting out the things that you wrote on I mean, that's the wildest piece of this whole thing, by the way. I'm just like, oh my God, you're saying the words that I wrote. And it was psychotic. I dealt with a lot of like insecurity when I got to that point. And I'm suddenly surrounded by all these actors who have 20, 30, 40 year long careers. And I am the green person, even though this is the thing that I wrote, even though, so I dealt a lot with like, oh my God, what if I can't like live up to these people who I've surrounded myself by? And my biggest fear was like, oh my God, what if someone watches this movie and is like, oh, that girl must have wrote it because otherwise she would never be in it, which like people say. So those were like the demons in my head that I was battling with throughout the whole process of the film, which is like a month of, being there every day. And at some point I kind of just had an epiphany and it was like, you don't need to be perfect. Like, not every scene here, not every performance, not everything that you're doing on the set needs to be perfect. And why would it be? Like, don't I give grace to an actor who's doing the first leading role in her feature film? Like, don't I give grace to an actor who I love, but like who maybe in this scene wasn't as perfect as I thought they could have? Of course I do. So why wouldn't I give myself that grace? And once I had that epiphany, I kind of just like relaxed and was more able to play and was more present in even my own material. So I'm really proud of myself for that because yeah, that's how the stress manifested for me. And yeah, I don't know about other people's experiences, but for me, yeah, that was it.
Is such a very typical. It's very. I don't know if that ever goes away, nor would you want it to, right? Because I feel like it kind of pushes you just a little bit in that factor.
Totally, and it humbles you. It keeps you humble. I mean, I just think like we see these actors and we're like, wow, they're so confident or this. And there's a lot of emotions and from day to day it's different. And you're working with people who are like the most hardworking and the best at what they do, and they have to be because they're here. So everyone is just like at this standard and it's a lot of pressure.
It is. It is. Um. So what's next for
Mm.
this film? Like, does it get distribution? Is that what you're looking for? Like, where can people actually watch
Yeah.
it?
I think premiering somewhere as amazing as South by Southwest is going to give us a really good opportunity for this film to get distribution and for it to see an audience that I hope people get to see this film. Um So yes, that's the goal. We have an amazing sales agent attached now, so I mean, yes, that's the goal. For me, it's just important that like I grew up in the Middle East, the TV that I had access to, the beautiful faces that I was exposed to as a kid were all white faces, and they're beautiful and they're lovely, but it
Mhm.
does change your brain chemistry. And I would love for like 15, 16, 17-year-old girls to have brown girls to look to and point to as a point of reference, not all their points of reference, but
Would be
one.
nice.
Yeah, would be nice. Would be nice. So that's the goal with the film.
Okay, so we've reached a part of the interview where I am going to give you some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And you kind of just respond whatever comes first, whatever comes to mind. You look at you, you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know.
I'm like, rapid fire is where I get in trouble.
Rapid fire is the best part. It's the most unfiltered part.
Yeah.
So tell me what you would tell your younger self in looking back.
Oh. This is not so rapid fire. This is an
This is
important
not so rapid. Oh,
question.
you're like, I have to think about it. It's okay. It's all right.
Everything is made up. So it's
Ooh, it's not
okay
real.
to everything is made up. Everyone made something up and it's the reality you see now. So challenge everything. Yeah.
I mean, that's a solid point of view.
Yeah.
Everything is made up.
It's all made up. The rules aren't real.
Okay, what is the biggest lie that you think that this industry conveys?
How are these rapid fire questions? They're difficult questions.
You're like, these are so difficult.
These require thought. The biggest lie um the biggest lie?
You're like, it's all a lie.
I don't know. I don't
What is it?
know.
What's the biggest lie that it's told you?
No, everything's made up, so I don't believe anything that anyone's telling
I
me.
don't believe that anybody's.
Well, right?
You're
Like if
like,
my fundamental belief is that everything is made up, then if you tell me something, I'm like, I don't believe it. So I guess that
delusion.
no, I guess that you don't have any control. Right? Like everyone is like, how do
Oh,
you deal with all the negative whatever? How do you deal with all the rejection? How do you like deal with not having any control? I guess my answer is like that's an illusion. You can go make whatever you want.
facts. Facts. Absolutely.
I'm
I
okay with
will
that
I
answer.
will double down.
I'm
I will
okay with
double
that
down
answer.
on that one because so many times you're just like, "Oh, I don't have control over this and I don't have control over that." And it's like, yes, and
Yes, and
however, like you can go make your own stuff. You can
mhm,
try and blaze your own trail.
mhm.
Okay, what do you think what's the first film or a film that really made you want to become a filmmaker?
I keep saying this and it's just the truth. It's Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh
It's Bend It Like
my god, I
Beckham. And
love
by the
that
way, if
so
you
much.
watch my movie, you'll understand. It's
Oh
multicultural and
goodness.
funny, and there's athleticism in it, and there's hot girls, hot guys. Like it's everything. That movie is everything. And English accents. Like what else do you want?
You're like all the boxes checked. It's done.
Checked. Keira Knightley. Check. Done.
Just kiss.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is the best advice you think you've ever gotten?
That's not. I have an issue with these rapid fire questions. These are difficult. The best advice I've ever gotten.
Or
You
maybe the
know,
most recent one?
no, I like always come back to this, and it's not even advice, but the sentence is always assume people are grieving.
Mm.
And it's not really answering your question, but I think about it all the time because I think it's so easy to lack empathy and it's so easy to be
Yeah.
competitive with it's just so easy to negative, negative, negative. And if you just always assume that people are grieving or going through something, like it's just such a quick mental reset. And you just will approach any communication completely differently.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And I know you're like, oh, that doesn't really answer your question, but it does. It does. It's advice. You're like, hey, assume that people are going through some things,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
For people that are looking to get into this industry, right? I'm talking, we're out of school, we just finished film school, or we just moved to LA or wherever it may be, and we're like, I want to do this. Words of wisdom.
Words of a wisdom. Find a way to absolutely love yourself.
Hmm.
That's it. Find whatever makes you so happy and love yourself, because until you show up as like the you, like the really, really you, like it for me it didn't click. I don't think it clicks. Like the whole point is to show up and capture like your human essence, right? And
Yeah.
and if you don't know your human essence, or you're not exuding your human essence, yeah, like find that.
Okay, I love that. Dahlia, where can people find you, follow you, keep track of what you're doing next? If this film gets distribution, where they can find it?
You can find me on the Instagram. It's Dalia Rooni. It's quite simple. And then if this one gets distribution, it'll definitely be, yeah, all the info will probably come through Instagram.
It'll be there. Oh
It'll
my
be
goodness.
there. Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Thank
Such a
you.
feat. As always, Slay Nation, thank you so much for listening. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. This really helps get the episode out to more people. And follow So She Slays across all the socials and the websites. Like, it's there. And be sure to hop onto our Patreon, So She Slays Unfiltered AF, to get all sorts of bonus content. Until next time, Dahlia, thank you so much for joining
Thank you so much for
us.
having me.
And Slay Nation, thank you so much for listening.